All right, guys, let's go. Thank you for joining in. We decided to put this together with the Delray Chamber because after we went through what we went through with COVID, we're in this series of recovery stages right now, especially for the hospitality, the hotels, the restaurants, and a lot of people are lost. Some people were very active throughout COVID and did the right things. They were very communicative. They were very much showing what's going on with their brand, with their companies. And a lot of people just went completely dark. So it doesn't matter what position you're in, everybody's coming out of recovery now, so everybody's gonna become active. So here's the thing, what do you do? And we came here today to give you some tips, give you some pointers, and really try to give you the straight line method, what you should really stay on when it comes to digital marketing, but more specifically video marketing.
Yes, definitely. And a lot of what we put together today has been a result of, I don't know how many Zoom calls, I'm sure everyone else out there is used to them too now, but lots of different Zoom calls with clients or other companies, and we realize it's been the same common themes. So that's really the purpose of today, is kind of just put that all together and share what we know so everyone else can keep moving forward with everything that they do. So let's get going. So the world has changed, obviously. Nearly 90% of travel marketers have slashed their budget as a result of everything that's happened with COVID-19. People cannot travel, so what's the point of pouring your dollars into advertising when you don't know when this is gonna stop? You don't know, people can't book, they can't travel, so why would you be spending money, wasting money advertising if they can't do that? We know people are itching to travel. We've seen it here. I remember the first weekend they opened up a beach in Florida on the West Coast. People were driving for hours just to go to that one beach, and it was crazy. People they're stuck in their homes, they're excited to get out and do things.
And then they ended up closing it again.
Right, because of how many people went there.
Sorry, Naples.
But we know travel's gonna come back. It's just a matter of when, and even the contribution over in 2019.
Yeah, look, if you just look at the hospitality sector as a whole, it's $1 trillion business. You're talking about over $9 trillion that it contributed to the GDP. And it's, in my opinion, it is the heart and pulse of every country on the planet. Because when you're selling a destination, when you're selling a hotel room, when you're selling an airline, when you're selling a cruise, those things are nothing without the complement of the hospitality industry, without these restaurants, without these experiences, without these excursions, without these tour activities. So this is the life and blood of your business. You have a vested interest in this. You think just owning a restaurant here, you don't have a vested interest in the destination or airlines or flight paths into this region, but you do. Everybody is in this together.
So how has it affected online? Lots of people have turned online over the last couple months because simply they have nowhere else to go. So we're seeing usage up on mostly every platform. Facebook use is up nearly 30% with a 50% increase in messaging. People are messaging old friends. They're spending more time going through their news feed. A lot of marketers are even seeing just the resurgence of Facebook as a result of this. TikTok's become monstrous. 315 million downloads in the first quarter of this year.
Are you active?
Not active.
I'm active.
Scott is. Follow Scott. Don't follow me. I'm always lost. Instagram's overall use surged by 40% with a 70% increase in Instagram Live. Things just like this. People are having to get their information out. They're going live to connect with their audience. YouTubers are seeing 20 to 30% more views. YouTube engagement and views are at an all-time high. And I find this one the best. Sponsored posts get 70% more engagement. So people are liking ads more than they were in the past.
You guys have to understand one thing. So when I was doing campaigns before this whole crisis came about, before I would have the trip, I would be on the phone with their PR agency and we would strategize how we're doing the sponsored posts for this brand, because everybody knows that sponsored posts do considerably less than normal posts. So I can't tell you how many hours I spent on the call before every single trip. And now it's like,
Right.
It just doesn't matter. People are consuming everything.
That's true. So, Scott, I'll let you introduce yourself.
That's no fun.
I can introduce him if you want. I know it's bad.
So I am, for those of you in South Florida, I grew up here. I lived there since I was 3, and I was in investment banking for 10 years. I floated between New York and Fort Lauderdale, and then they sold my firm, and I went on a trip to Asia that really changed my life. I ended up staying there, moving there after 4 days, and didn't use my return ticket back home, and I lived in Europe and Asia for 17 years. So out of those 17 years, I lived in 6 different countries, but here's the important part. The important part was I was in the Stone Ages when I went over there, and when I came back, completely digital, because social media came out while I was living in Bangkok. And if anybody knows anything about Southeast Asia, social media is on steroids there. If you post 2 times a day here on Instagram, or once every day, or once every 3 days, they post like 3 times a day over there. It is insane. The first 3 out of the first 4 years of Instagram, the most Instagram place on the planet was Bangkok. Whether it's the shopping mall or the airport, those were the 2 they were kept bouncing back and forth. It was ridiculous. But anyway, I started the first digital agency in Southeast Asia and really rode the train of the tourism sector and all the hotels that were entering that market. So that's where I really learned everything about tourism, hotels, and digital, because I watched some of the biggest and the best brands that you know today in Southeast Asia, and I built them up from nothing to where they are. So I sold the agency after 5 years, and that is kind of funny, right? I sold the agency after 5 years, and then I built up my personal brand. So I still operate as if I have a digital agency. I just provide all the services through my personal brand, and I don't have an office. I haven't even had a home for 7 years. I travel full time. I can honestly say this is the first time in my life where it's been inconvenient to not have a home. I normally love it. Now it's not so enjoyable because I enjoy bouncing from hotel to hotel. I mean, now I'm living at a hotel, and I'm sure when I leave here, I'll go to another hotel, but it is what it is, and tourism will be back. It's slowly coming back now. I'm already having conversations about trips. We're just waiting for the borders to open up, and I pretty much do campaigns full time, but behind the scenes, see, what everybody thinks is they see me, I have a big audience on social media, and they think, oh yeah, you're just an influencer, you just do these trips and you get everything for free because you have a big audience. Here's the golden ticket, the golden piece of nugget that happens in my life. That gets me a lot of engagement, it gets me a lot of exposure. What you do with that exposure really makes you who you are. So I take that exposure and I turn it into real business. So those trips and those campaigns, they account for like 10% of my revenue. The rest of it comes from things that I do with Ceebz. We build out digital strategies, we do consulting, I do public speaking gigs all over the world, and do video marketing campaigns, create funnels for brands. So all these things, that's where the real foundations come in my life, not the front-facing stuff that everybody sees on the outside. So, you know, it's just something to think about when you're just seeing a big audience. What's behind there? What kind of substance do those people provide when you get behind the brand? Also, and the last thing I'll mention, I just signed on to do a TV show. It's the first travel series on Lifetime. And it's the first morning travel series in, I think, travel history. I don't know another one that's been consistently in the mornings. We were fortunate enough, and the only reason it did not get canceled is we were fortunate enough that we finished filming about 5 or 6 days before COVID hit. So we were very, very fortunate. If that wouldn't have been done, I'm very confident that the show would have got canceled. Now it's just being restructured so we can sell it a different way, film it a different way, do certain things, but the show has not been canceled. So that's my 10-second elevator pitch.
10 seconds. So I'm not as cool as Scott. I haven't lived in Southeast Asia and overseas for 17 years, but so
you have a lot of hair.
I do have a lot of hair. Scott's always jealous of that, especially my quarantine mullet. He doesn't like it because he doesn't understand the flow. You know?
I don't understand it.
But I actually started doing videos for people about 5 years ago now. Just started as a videographer. Over that time, realized really travel and tourism was my true passion. Me and Scott linked up probably about 3 years ago and just kind of have been figuring out different ways to continuously add value to the clients we work with. We met through Instagram. And
Ceebz slid into my DMs.
I slid right in. And look, it worked out. So started making videos, started doing different campaigns. We've done campaigns for Visit South Africa. We've gone to the Maldives together. Cannes Film Festival, Windstar Cruises, across the board, just have kept evolving and figuring out how to continuously add more value to our clients, which is where all this other stuff comes in. And I also said, so when me and Scott first talked about doing a presentation, one thing that we did not want to do is make this incredibly boring. So I said, why don't we choose each other's headshots for the presentation and try to keep things a little bit more lively than the 18 million other Zoom webinars going on that are just, I don't know, you fall asleep during those. So hopefully this is exciting and engaging enough for you guys as we go. So a quick overview about what we're going to go over today. Really, the number one marketing tool you should be working on right now. Hint, it's going to be video. Secondly, things to consider when you're building your video marketing campaign. Common mistakes people make when doing so. Why video isn't the only aspect you need to focus on. And really other ideas that you can use and implement moving forward. So if you're trying to figure out your own strategy, our goal is to help you figure that out a little bit easier today through everything that we go over. And on the side here, we have Scott in the studio working on his video business card, which at the end we'll actually get to and we can show you how it looks. So why video? Why take the time to produce and create videos? Video can be expensive, it can take time, whatnot. So let's just look at some of the stats that come down to video. So a video on your landing page can increase your conversions by 80%. If that doesn't get you excited as a brand or a business, or I don't know what will. If you're able to convert the people that are already showing up 80% better, your business is going to be that much better at the end of the day. The mere mention of the word video in your email subject line increases open rates by 19%. Once again, that's a huge difference. YouTube now is the second largest search platform in the world after Google, and guess who owns YouTube? That's Google. So they're going to keep pushing that content out there, making it easier for you to find the information that you're looking for. And then the stat by 2022.
Yeah, I mean, guys, when was the last time you just scrolled in Instagram, in TikTok, in Facebook, in LinkedIn? Okay, what's the percentage of videos that you see? It's growing. Every 6 months, you're seeing another 5% bump. And they're saying in the next couple of years, 80 to 90% of your whole feed is going to be video. Listen, they say a picture tells 1,000 words. Well, how many words does a video tell? Right. It's so much more in detail, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I consider this time kind of to be almost like when websites were first starting out. People were like, oh, that's kind of cool, but do we really need that? Like, it's happening. You're either going to figure it out now or figure it out later. And do you want your other brand and competitors to get ahead or you to? That's really, at the end of the day, what it boils down to. And on the side here, we have Scott and Alec. Alec's actually in the back. What up, Alec? This was filming in France.
It was.
When was this? This was like 2 years ago. You were still working on this.
It was 2 years ago. So here's the funny thing. You guys think that video marketing is optional. It's not optional. It's a guarantee in your life. The only matter is when. Are you going to be last at the table? Are you going to be the last restaurant in your row? Are you going to be the last airline? Are you going to be the last hotel? Whatever it is, or are you going to be first? This is Labua Hotel in Bangkok. If you guys seen the movie The Hangover, the rooftop restaurant, okay, that's Labua Hotel. That restaurant, this is the CEO of Labua Hotels, and he was opening up a champagne lounge just below that rooftop restaurant, okay? Very exclusive, and he was serving, I think, 5 sparkling wines and champagnes that have never been served outside of France. And he signed an exclusive contract to be the only bar in the world to serve them. And what he wanted to do was he wanted to create videos with the winemakers and me and him walking through the vineyards of those so he could use it for a marketing campaign. Right. He killed it. I mean, this thing saw so So much ROI, it was ridiculous. And this was 2 years ago. Very much ahead of the curve.
So, video being your ultimate salesman, and this is how I like to explain video to people, right? Think of whoever your best salesperson might be. Could be you, could be someone on your team, whatnot. Now imagine if you were able to clone them just hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of times to be able to be working all around the world, all at the same time, closing deals for you while you sleep, right? That is the power of video. You're able to connect with people virtually, you know, especially at a time right now where you can, but face-to-face interactions aren't really happening as much. You need to get through people on the other side. Video is the most powerful way to do that. So as you're cloning your salesman, obviously, you're gonna make some that just don't get the traction, so you take those out, and then you iterate on all the other best videos that you are doing. So consider it to be a very powerful tool, and on top of that, people are hungry for video. So this graph here really shows what type of content that people want to see the most from brands and businesses. And clearly, video here is the lead.
Yeah, 100%. And by no means, and I tell this to every brand that I work with, even brands that I'm not working with, I would never tell somebody to only do video and shut out everything else, or only do digital, or only do social media and cut out everything else. Listen, there's a time and a place for everything. Traditional PR will never go away. Digital PR will never go away. Social media, it's not going away. So the thing that you have to concentrate on is to be able to orchestrate how all those pieces of the puzzle work together simultaneously. That is the trillion-dollar question.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can use video in all those other channels as well. You know, your emails that go out, you can send a video instead. Think of when COVID first started happening and you got what felt like hundreds of emails from every brand that didn't even know they had their email addresses. And they all were saying the same thing. Now imagine if one of them were to take the time to send out a video message from their CEO and how much better you would have resonated with that versus just that same generic email. So you can use it in multiple different ways on those channels. And this really has how brands and businesses have responded to video over the last couple of years, right? So in 2017, video was just one tool that they were using. So they might make a brand video for their website, and that's really how they viewed all video content, was just that. People weren't necessarily saying, oh, we need to do all this video content for social, whatnot. In 2018 and 2019 is really where video started to get implemented more instead of being a singular marketing tactic to a strategy. So people were building video campaigns, taking entire strategies based around video, building campaigns to go attract new clients, you know, connect with their customers, share information, tell their stories, whatever it may be. And now 2020, you're really seeing video become a holistic business approach, all teams implementing, right? So your sales team can be sending video message. You can be making internal videos for your staff. Say you have a lot of training, you know, especially with COVID, all these new procedures that go into place, and you have hundreds or thousands of staff, you make a video that can train them all instead of having to hire this huge training staff type of deal. So it's really being incorporated into so many aspects of business today.
Yeah.
All right, so there's lots of types of video. These are just some of the examples. Brand videos and video business cards. I think there's some hotels even that are using video business cards to show franchise owners and tell their story of how they got to where they are and why they love their hotel so much and their customers, and really share on a deeper level so you're able to connect with that individual person versus just the brand at a higher level. Case study of customer testimonials. This is huge. I guarantee you as you're scrolling through Instagram, you're starting to get targeted now with ads. Someone holding their cell phone just talking about a product, a service, a hotel, whatever it may be. They're using video testimonials now from real people a lot more. Shaky video, it's not even highly produced. It's authentic, it's real, it blends in with people's feeds.
And let me tell you, the shaky ones, the real ones, the raw ones, the unedited ones convert better than the highly produced ones, a lot of the time.
So then you have video ads. I mean, that's self-explanatory. Expert interviews, event videos, educational videos, explainer videos, animated videos, demo videos, live videos, 360 videos, and personalized messages. So as you can see, there's lots of different ways you can use video. I don't even think, educational training videos. It really can be used in so many different ways to help on the side here, we have some photos. That's actually from a campaign we did with WinStar. Bill, if you're still here, great having you on that trip too.
I wonder if Sarah's joined.
I don't know. I haven't been able to pay attention to that.
And as far as the types of marketing videos, the video business cards, which happens to be my favorite because I think that every business in the world needs one, we're going to dissect, more importantly, he is going to dissect my video business card that his company made for me and really show you the important aspects and just the structure of what it should be.
Sure. So 5 common video marketing mistakes. As you can see, drone flying, drone crashing. We've probably crashed, what, 14, 15 between us too.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot, but it's always worth it because the shots are way better. So here's some of the...
Crash, you're not a real pilot.
Right, exactly. You're playing it too safe with the drone, I think. But always follow FAA regulations.
FAA log on.
So here's 5 common video marketing mistakes that I've seen a lot of people make. And these are also mistakes that I've made over the years and had to learn the hard way, and also why I'm so passionate about teaching others not to do it, because you'll waste a lot of time and money making these mistakes. So not knowing your target customer, not knowing exactly who you're speaking to in each and every video you do. And you can have different target customers, but you should know if you're trying to attract a corporate client, you want to be speaking to that corporate client, right? If you want to attract a family and you know usually the mom is purchasing the trip online and doing all the homework, that's who you need to be speaking to in those videos and on your landing page. So not knowing your target customer, you're only going to confuse people if you're trying to attract everyone at once. You need to be laser focused with your messaging and who you're trying to bring in and attract. Blowing your budget on production or ads. So this can go both ways. There's a time to have highly produced videos for your business, right, or your brand too. Keep in mind, it's a reflection of your brand. If you have a low quality, shaky video as your main brand video, what do you think guests are gonna think how you value your brand? It's gonna be low, right?
Well, if you don't care about the marketing, who's gonna?
Exactly. And then there's other times where, like we said before, you know, cell phone videos from guests or even just staff even work really well because you're connecting with people on a more authentic level than these highly produced videos. People know when they're being sold to in this day and age, right? Think about as you're scrolling through your Instagram feed or on Facebook and you see a logo pop up on a video or an ad, you instantly just go right by it. You know it's an ad, you know you're about to be sold to, and you shut down because you don't want to see it. So those are little mistakes that you could also be making with your videos that you're gonna spend all this time creating something and lose 95% of your audience in that first 3 seconds. Chasing the creative idea instead of the simple one. I mean, have you ever talked to a client that just has this wild idea for a viral video and they're like, by the way, our budget's $500. And it just doesn't work. Sometimes you need to keep it simple, right? You need to focus on the core messaging, keep it simple, make it easy to understand so that the person on the other side knows exactly what you are pitching, I guess you'd say. Focusing on only making your brand look good. Anything to add to that one?
It's literally self-explanatory.
So another thing, don't think about providing value to your audience, okay? If all you're doing is just trying to show how great you are, your audience might be engaged, but a lot of times they're not going to find that value over time.
But it's also, it's going to become very transparent that is all you want to do is look good. You have to provide, you as a brand, number one, you got to be more human. The humanization of brands, it has to start happening in a very big way. It really started happening. What COVID did in a good way was it forced innovation. It forced virtual meetings. It forced video to become more important. It forced more engagement. It forced a lot of things. Yes, there was a lot of bad that came with it, but with every crisis comes massive opportunities. And you have to ride this wave coming out of this. So you have to be more human with your brand. You have to be very authentic. One thing about me, and if anybody knows me, and lots of people that know me in real life are watching this live stream, and the people that are here, I am the exact same on camera and off camera. I actually hate being on camera. I'm not, and I'm not letting Ceebz do all the talking because I hate being on camera today. It's because he is an expert at the skeleton and the structure of video marketing. And he is so anal when it comes to analytics and how you create and structure the perfect video with that subliminal sales message tucked away in there that you just never realize that you're being sold. Even though it's sales, this video, it's a sales pitch. Listen, I'm not a nonprofit. I have a company. Everybody in here has a company. This is a sales pitch. But we do it in a very authentic way, and I was raised very strict, and I was always taught to give first, ask later. So I will always give 5 times more than I ask. And that's the difference.
Yes, definitely agreed.
So yeah, I have that to add.
Yeah. Next, hiring the wrong production company, videographer, agency. Do your homework ahead of time. You hire the wrong company, they might say, look, we need to invest real heavily on this one side, and then they're not paying attention to any other aspects of your marketing system as a whole. You could hire a videographer that's gonna charge you a whole lot. They're gonna make something pretty that looks good for their demo reel.
No, the best is this. When a brand hires you or comes to talk to you and asks you to create a video, oh, well, what are you talking about? $3,000 for, I know a guy who can do it for $200.
Right.
But again, this is where the structure of the video and how you push it out, where you're pushing it out, how long the video needs to be, what needs to be in the video, this is where all that comes into play. Guess what? You're doing a $200 video. Guess what? You're getting $200 worth of video. It's ridiculous. It's not the same. Again, the only person that's going to care about your brand is you. Nobody is ever going to care more about your brand than you. If you cheapen your brand, guess what? You got a cheap brand.
Yeah. It goes back to like the example with starting an ad with your logo or whatnot, and that not performing as well. A videographer might think that's the best thing for you to do. A video marketer knows we're gonna need to make 4 variations of this video and test what works, triple down on what is working best, remove the things that aren't. It's a completely different mindset and strategy. You're reverse engineering the process, and we're actually gonna go over more of that later on. So the idea with it all, though, your marketing system and the bucket we have here on the side, you wanna plug all the holes in your bucket, anywhere where people are escaping from your system and your funnel, right? Maybe you're sending a ton of people to your landing page or your home page, but that traffic isn't converting as well. So what can you do to increase the conversions just on your landing page? Maybe you don't need to pump more money into ads, you just need to focus on converting the customers that already exist and are showing up. If you can convert 5 or 10% more of those people, I guarantee you're gonna have a lot better ROI with everything you're doing. And the last thing is not capturing data. So speaking on that point and knowing how crazy I am, if you are just tuning in and you're watching this live, hashtag live in the comments here. If you're watching the replay on this, hashtag replay. We always like to know how people are consuming content because that makes us smarter, meaning we can make better videos and provide more value to everyone else. So why it's not just video. And Scott was saying this before. Video is a tool to be used, and it's right now the most powerful way to connect with people over the internet, right? When you can't be face-to-face. In the future, that might change, but right now, video is it. Everything you do flows. And this kind of whiteboard thing that I did. So if you think about what we were talking about before, right? If you're hiring a videographer to help with your entire marketing strategy and they're making a video, they're just focused on making that video. Just like your ad manager's focused on the ad, just like your social media person's focused on just the post, and your website person's focused on their website, right? Your videographer isn't looking at the back end of your ad data to see, hey, this video is performing really well, and this isn't. Maybe we should tweak a couple things on this one and see how well now we're comparing the two of those do. If they're not communicating and you don't have someone kind of overseeing this whole system, that's where you get those holes in the bucket, right? Even with your website person, right? Once again, your ad person might not be looking about how your website is converting. They might say, look, we're sending all this traffic to your homepage, and we're doing our job. I don't know what's going on. When you have someone who's looking at the data on the website, how many people are actually watching the video you implemented? You can set up tracking on that. How many people are watching more than 50%, 75%? Maybe the video you have there just isn't performing because no one's clicking on it. And if you aren't looking at that data, how do people know? So this whole system flows, and it's why you need someone who understands each aspect of it to kind of be overseeing it all.
Guys, this is also the reason that, hypothetically, say a brand contacts me, him, us, and they want to do something with us. And they'll say, okay, I have an in-house social media person or an in-house videographer, work with them. Okay. What has that social media person ever done? Because you have no ROI on your social media. They have no proven track record of campaigns. They don't understand analytics. They don't understand the back end stuff. They are actually going to do more harm than good. So you have people in place that shouldn't be in place. You're hiring the wrong people to manage the wrong things. And number one, nothing drives me crazy more than this, is when I go to a hotel or a restaurant or whatever, and I always ask, if I know the person, who does your social media? And they're like, oh, well, Mary over there. And what they're not saying is Mary has 15 other job responsibilities on top. The 16th is social media. So when she has time, she'll craft one post, share it to all platforms. Please don't do that, people. And the post is messed up, the hashtags are wrong, the tags are wrong, she has no idea what she's doing. And then, because society says you need to be on social media, she did it, she feels good, and now she can go around with her life. It's ridiculous. If you're investing the time, I don't care if it's 5 seconds or 5 years, you're investing the time, you need to see that ROI. Hire better qualified people. If you can't find those people, find an agency that can complement your company to do it correctly.
Right, and it's not like these are
Massive
untested things.
Right.
I mean, all of these have been proven to work really well to grow your brand. So by like half-assing it, you're just hurting yourself. All right, so this also kind of outlines the marketing system and going back to data and why building your system also to capture data is so important when it comes to this too. Because I forget the stat, but think about how much more it costs to find someone who has no idea about your brand versus an existing customer, right? You have a warm market that know about your product, they're gonna make that purchase decision that much easier. So as you build your system and collect data, you collect email addresses, right? You know, you can set up retargeting. You can get back in front of these potential clients or customers, or even old customers, to hit them with a new marketing campaign, right? If you've had every email from every guest that's ever come to your hotel, during these times you could be sending them funny videos like, hey, bored during quarantine? We're gonna show you how we make swan towels, right? Or who was it that...
Doubletree. So if you've ever stayed at a Doubletree, you know that they have cookies, fresh baked cookies every morning. And what Doubletree did during COVID was they put out the recipe. For the first time in their company history, they put out the recipe and the people went wild. First off, it was a press release in every news station in the world, and just everybody picked it up. It was such a genius move. It would be like KFC releasing the secret recipe of like garbage that they put in chicken. But whatever. Sorry, KFC. Sorry.
So you want to do a campaign for KFC?
I do want to do a campaign. I'm good.
And then the other thing, like I'm obsessed with seeing how long people watch videos, because you might find that at 15% into the video, there's a huge drop off and you don't know why. And maybe there's just a visual that doesn't resonate with the person. Keep in mind, people's attention spans are shorter than goldfish these days. So if you have a span of 4 or 5 seconds that just isn't keeping them drawn in, that's where you'll actually lose them, and you'll be able to see that in your analytics so you can go back, tweak that video, right? So instead of having to redo an entire new campaign, you literally might just need to change one clip. That takes 10 minutes.
Guys, nobody collects data better than the OTAs. Let's just talk about hotels for a second. The hotels lost all control of their audience, of their customers, of their clients many years ago when the OTAs took over. Booking.com, Trivago, Expedia. These people are absolute geniuses. They are data whores. They do such a deep dive into the analytics, into your life, that they target you better than anybody on the planet. And that is what really screwed over the hotel industry for the past many years, because the hotels didn't have any of the data from their customers because the OTAs had it all. So if you're a small boutique hotel and COVID hit, you had no database because you were probably getting 40 to 50, maybe even 60% of your bookings from the OTAs. You had nobody to talk to. You never did social media right. What were you doing during those 3 months? You turned the sign on that said close, and eventually that sign is gonna say out of business. Traffic's not coming back anytime soon. So what are you gonna do? You never implemented digital right. You never prepared for worst case scenario. What are you going to do? Now, you can't do anything about that. The milk has been spilled. What are you gonna do if this comes back? And are you gonna be prepared for the next time? Are you gonna be prepared if this thing comes back this winter, or next summer, or next spring, whatever it is? Like, honestly, what would you do if you had to go through the same 3 or 4 months again? You'd be in a very difficult position. And we were all in it. My whole life got canceled, except for the TV show, but the TV show did me no good when we're in COVID. I lost every ounce of revenue. I lost just like everybody else. But I had an audience, and I keep my audience highly engaged. I'm not paid to do that on a daily basis. I work 7 days a week. If I'm awake, I'm working. I don't know how many hours a day I work, but if
Every
I'm awake,
hour of the day.
Yeah.
It's dangerous when we hang out.
Hellacious.
Yeah, I started to get a foot cramp actually, so I took my shoes off. Fun fact, behind the scenes stuff here. The other thing I wanted to say too is if you're not planning now, like what do you think the billion-dollar titans in the industry are doing?
Right.
They're setting all this strategy up, everything. So when the floodgates are open, they can rush to implement everything. So you're either going to be working to come up with a strategy, figuring out new things you can do, finding ways to get in touch with your most viable potential customers, or you're sitting back doing nothing, and at the end of the day, I don't think it would be as well for you. So this is another reason Facebook ads, I think, are just incredibly underpriced right now. We've had...
Well, let's talk about Facebook first.
Sure.
So, listen, Facebook is definitely the OG of social media. They were the first ones that exploded. Kristen likes that. They were the first ones that exploded. They're a mainstay in your life. And guess what? People who say Facebook isn't cool anymore and the demographics dropping off and Facebook is not ROI anymore. I got news for you. Facebook has a secret weapon. They have a stranglehold on your memories. They have been around for how long now? 10 years?
12 years.
12 years? Think how many memories you have on Facebook before another platform was even invented. Okay? So Facebook is not going anywhere. They have more eyeballs on a monthly basis than any other platform. The ads are so highly targeted. I mean, like you can target within a 20-mile radius and really pinpoint who you want to talk to. And to be honest, in comparison to pay-per-click and Google ads, Facebook's pennies on the dollar. I mean, it's ridiculous. You just need to know how to do them effectively. I mean, some of Ceebz's clients for his normal business, and some of my clients, he's seeing 10x, 12x, 15x. I mean, that's not an uncommon number when you're talking about Facebook ads. Just my 2 cents, but yeah, Facebook's not going anywhere.
No, it's incredible. There's a lot of good ROI in Facebook still. And like Scott was saying, you can get a targeted ad, say you wanted to target people within 50 miles of here who like Thai food. You can do that, right? And you can drop your video right in front of them with the right messaging that we went over already, just for a couple cents. Like, that is so powerful. For 3 to 5 cents to put that video in front of someone versus spending tens of thousands of dollars for a TV commercial, where look next time you're watching TV with a group of people and a commercial comes on, how many people just instantly go to their phone or aren't looking at the commercial or anything? And don't tell me, what about the Super Bowl? I know, yes, people watch Super Bowl commercials, okay? But generally speaking, most of the time they're not watching that. And TV commercials, it's not like they can translate to social, right? Once again, they know it's an ad and it doesn't do well. I've seen some brands try to do that over the last couple months. It's just take their TV commercial, throw it on social, but it doesn't work that way. It's different platforms, and every platform is different. You need to know what platforms, who your audience is on there, and craft content specifically for that. I'll let you go over this, Scott.
Guys, we're gonna do an example, okay? Say you're going to a new town. Say me and Ceebz have just popped into a new city that we've never been before, and we don't do social media, okay? We're going on Google, we're going on TripAdvisor, we're looking for a restaurant. We see 2 different types of restaurants. We see one restaurant with, old pictures of food that, like, you could just see they were outdated, wrong lighting, just the wrong everything, and then a couple customer testimonials. And then the other restaurant has a great video showing the chef, like interviewing the servers, like has some customer testimonials on there. Which restaurant do you think you're gonna choose? I mean, it's a no-brainer, and it's almost laughable that you would even ask somebody that question. But guys, that is the position that you guys are putting your brands in every single day. Every single day. If you didn't go through a checklist during this COVID period and really reevaluate your whole brand, how does your website look? Does your wording need to be refreshed? How does your pictures look? Do they need to be updated? Do you have videos? How's your social media? You gotta be doing that. Forget about COVID, you should be doing that monthly anyway, but especially when you had all that downtime, how does your brand, you need to always concentrate on your digital infrastructure. Not only the physical infrastructure, yeah, everybody can tell when a chair needs replaced. But how about when your website needs replaced? And what kind of tracking mechanisms do you have on your website? What kind of data extraction do you have on your website? How are you communicating your brand to your audience, to your potential audience? How are you doing all these things?
Right. Imagine as a restaurant, you had a huge email list of everyone that came through. And when COVID started happening, you could just reach out to them saying, hey, we're still open. We're still doing deliveries. We have a modified menu. And let them know exactly that. And do a video with your safety precautions that you've put in place to ensure their food would be safe. You would be struggling a lot less than people who all of a sudden had to figure out how to get online, how to do all this other stuff. It's just planning for the future and building that database is one of the most valuable things you can do. Yeah. So who should you be targeting right now with your brand? A lot of people don't have huge budgets right now. They're afraid of wasting money, and that's the biggest question is, how are we gonna get new people into this? So really, you have your hot market, warm market, cold market. Your hot market and warm market are gonna be the best people to get in front of again, right? To let them know, hey, we're open again, we'd love to have you back. They're already familiar with your brand. You don't need to spend all this time educating them, teaching them, convincing them that you're the right fit for them. Your cold market, they have no idea who you are. It's gonna be a lot more to bring them into your system. It could take 3 months, 6 months, a year to warm that audience up to where they're that familiar with their brand, saying, you know what, I am gonna make that buying decision. What does it take? 7 or 8 times of seeing a commercial before it actually even sinks in? So now think about your hot market or warm market. The first time they see that commercial, they're gonna know, oh yeah, that's them. Oh yeah, we did go there. That would be a great place to go visit again, So that's who you should really be focusing on. And also wanted to talk about influencers because a lot of people have asked about that, whether this would be a good idea moving forward. And I think the right influencer campaigns can go a massive way right now. The restaurant industry has seen it have seen great results using local influencers and other micro influencers just over the past couple months. So people even just posting to their friends, ordered from here, still open, then others seeing that being like, oh, that's really cool. Even the Facebook groups and everything that have popped up as a result, and people sharing information like that, it's been a result of people sharing with their friends, not necessarily a result of these restaurants that are just blowing marketing budgets to create all these ads. So there's different ways you can go about it, and you have to realize that when it's coming from a trusted source, someone who has a highly engaged audience like Scott that follow his travels and he's connecting with them consistently.
But this is a perfect example. Do you guys know that this is only the second time that I've gone Instagram Live? I've never gone live before on any platform. The first time was for the premiere of my TV show, and we had 800 and something consistently for 45 minutes. Now, we've been on for I don't even know how long, and we're still at 495 people. Now guys, this isn't rocket science, okay? I engage with my audience like an insane person. But I also value this. I value real life. Being able to see, feel, and touch somebody, and which we haven't been able to do recently, and I'm hoping that it goes away and I can just hug people.
No.
But listen, guys, you don't understand the importance of not only pushing out the right content, but engaging with that content. Engage with the engagement. Like, you have no idea how important that is. It comes back to you tenfold. This is tenfold right now. We have almost 500 people on live from all around the world, I'm assuming, tuned into this little thing that we're doing in Delray Beach. Like, it's nothing. This city's like this big compared to all the other cities that I work with. It's literally a microcosm. But look at what digital, look at what having this audience has the capabilities to deliver to your business. I mean, I don't have white papers on my website. I don't have white papers that I actively send out to clients because my personal brand is the best example that I could absolutely show you. I was a C- student that never went to college, and the only skill I have is I know how to sell. That's it. I have zero skills. This is why I partner with people like Ceebz and Alec and Omar and a handful of other people and Kristen, because it's important the people that you have surrounding you that complement what you're already good at. I already have an audience, so that he can do his magic with the analytics and the ads and the videos and make me look all pretty and force me to be on camera and all this stuff that I hate. This is what you need. You need the A-team.
The other thing definitely too with hotels and other tourism activities, I guess you would say, is utilizing local influencers, especially in the drive market. Think about it, over the next however long, people are going to be less likely to get on a plane to fly somewhere to go on a vacation.
Your mom just said she loves my honesty.
Hey, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
That's Ceebs' mom, by the way, guys.
So you're going to have people that are looking to take road trips with their family just to get out, just to do something, right? It could be a staycation just down the street. And by utilizing other local or micro influencers and letting them know, even with how many people have probably clicked through as a result of you tagging Aloft Hotels since we've been here? Probably thousands, I would say.
Many thousands.
Easily. So even just that exposure, even people saying, oh, I'm in Delray. I didn't know Aloft was open. It looks like there's not that many people there, and everything looks super clean. Maybe we will check in for the weekend because I just need to get out of my house. I'm going crazy. Those are the people you need to be able to attract and find and bring in to your brand. And these are some shots from the Maldives when we were there, hanging out in the world's largest underwater restaurant at Herwali.
Can you believe that's actually a resort? It's so ridiculous.
It's a good spot for social distancing.
That's right.
So, which brings us to the next point, how to take action. How can you actually implement some of the stuff we've talked about into your own brand when it comes to this? First off, I always start by reverse engineering the goal. What are you trying to do, right? Who are you trying to target? What platforms are they on? What type of content do they respond well to? And how can you get in front of them to let them know about your offer, right? Also figuring out your plan, figuring out where you have holes in your bucket, right? Like we said before, you might be sending a ton of traffic to a site, but then they're not actually converting into customers. So what does that mean? It means maybe something's off with the web page, maybe something's off in the sales system, right? Taking a look at where you're losing your customers that you're spending money to attract and aren't converting. How can you increase those conversions just by utilizing the traffic you already have? Tracking data. So getting smarter based on the data, learning how your customers are contacting you. Maybe they prefer phone calls, emails. Maybe it's all through social and you need to ramp up your social media efforts by responding to people there. You know, people are going to have a ton of questions over the next couple months, years, however long it may be, about, hey, what's happening at your hotel? Am I going to be safe? Are my kids going to be safe? Whatever it may be. You know, you can make a video about your most frequently asked question so your salespeople or customer service reps are actually able to answer questions that they can't find online, and now you don't need as big of a team. People like doing their homework on their own time. So you can add that to your homepage when someone's doing their homework. Then they can call if they have more. Seeing what percentage of people are watching your videos, right? If someone watches 75% of a 5-minute video, you know they are into what you are saying.
They're gold.
Right? That's a person who's, I would say, is warm, and you want to keep them in your system. Put another video in front of them that's speaking to them again. But by knowing someone sat there for, I can't do that math, let's say 4 minutes, you know, you know that that person is into what you're saying. And so what we have here on the side, so we actually went out, and this was something that you could probably tell the story better than me.
So this was Bodvar Rosé, which is one of the hottest rosés. You might see me talk about them and post about them. I work a lot with the brand. They're one of the hottest rosés in the world right now, and they brought us out. This is actually Bodvar on the right-hand side, and his butler in the middle, who's like the coolest human on the planet. And this is their villa that they have in Saint-Tropez, and they brought us out there to film at the Cannes Film Festival with them. And we were just like, there was actually no plan. They hired us to come out to create content, and they left everything in our hands to create the perfect content. And I mean, the analytics were ridiculous.
Right.
They saw a ridiculous amount of ROI from this, and they had beautiful content to share for, you know, they're still sharing it.
Yeah, I think that video alone did over 100,000 views just in the first 24 hours. It was trending under all the Cannes hashtags. Yeah. So now everyone there who's looking from all over the world who wants to see people on the red carpet or whatnot, that video was front and center with the Bodvar brand name being tagged, and everyone was going through the page, checking it out, learning more about the brand. So does anyone have any questions right now? Feel free to drop them in the comment box.